Okay. Hello. Happy final live stream of December. Heads up, that picture right there, it might fall down. Um, I just put it back up, but it's not totally secure. So that can be an exciting side thing if it comes crashing down. So we'll see what happens. All right. So as always, say hello when you get here, whether you're watching the replay or you are live. Before we get into today, which I kind of just have a random assortment of things that I'll touch on, and then I'll go a little deeper into some of these things in the new year. But I wanted to share, take a couple minutes to just share a few things. I put this sentiment into our launch letter, our launch letter yesterday. However, technology was not being so kind, and we had, sorry, I'm just clearing a notification. Technology was not being super kind, and a lot of people did not get our newsletter. So I want to reiterate it. 2025 was a huge year for us at Book Launchers. We reorganized our company. So we used to be in departments. Now we are in hubs. And we also, the big thing was our original service, which was a monthly membership called Platinum. We retired that. And we stopped selling it. And by the end of, well, not the end of, the middle of next year, we will not be servicing Platinum at all. So the very first service we ever offered, we decided, made the hard decision to get rid of it. Very hard decision, but we replaced it with Author Essentials. It takes out some of the marketing pieces that we were doing and makes a fixed price package. And so good fit for certain authors, and it's been going really, really well. So a hard choice, but I believe the right choice for the right clients. We also launched our author launch kit and our author lab community. All these things were foundational changes. They were big changes. So, with my team, I was celebrating the year because, as I'm sure you know, change is never easy. You kind of have to grind through some of the steps and pieces, but we're on the other side of it. And I'm excited for what we're going to be able to do with this new structure, with our new offerings and our software in 2026. But we did all this because publishing has changed a lot in the last 2 years. And what we saw in 2024 coming into this year was the stuff that used to work consistently is not working like it used to be. And, somebody said to me, the playbook didn't just get outdated, it got run over and burned. So we've had to reinvent. And I think I still see a lot of publishers and a lot of companies doing the same thing. And it's sort of working. So they're still doing it, but they're behind because things have changed a lot. And, some of the big things that I've been talking about a lot, books, they're not static things anymore. And that's one of the things we're going to touch on today is the Kindle, talking back book kind of feature. Audiobooks are no longer just audio, and platforms stopped being enough. And because of all that, that's why we changed. And through it, many of you have been here, and I thank you for it. It has been awesome to have you here. I believe having an audience, whether it's an audience of 1 or an audience of 100 or 1,000, or perhaps this year, an audience of 100,000 on YouTube. My son thinks I should push for my play button. So maybe in 2026 is the year that we break through on YouTube and go from, 75,000 subscribers, which thank you, to 100,000, and I get my play button. Which, by the way, is the ultimate credibility thing you can get when you're the mom of a 9-year-old, which he would be 9 when I get the play button, assuming we get it done next year. So, of course, subscribe and help me. I would be grateful. But regardless, whether an audience is 10 people or 10,000 or 100,000, it is a privilege to have anyone paying attention to what I have to say. So thank you. Now, as we head into 2026, I want to say hello to all of you here, but I also want to tell you a little bit about what's going to happen on the channel because I'm changing my focus a tiny bit. And we got Beeline Bill here to hear all about it, Gary Anderson, who's going to come see me in the Las Vegas office in January. Ancient Egypt and the Bible. Oh, hello. And you're right. Burnt books in this topic of conversation, not something we should be talking about, is it? We don't want to burn any books, even if it's a playbook that needs updating. So thank you. Thank you for reminding me. And artist Alan West is here. Hello, my friend from Japan. Okay. So back to what I was saying. Sorry, pulling up my screen now. So as we head into 2026, we're going to change a little bit of the channel focus. Still talking nonfiction books, that doesn't change. But I really want to make it a little clearer, a little sharper, and have a more valuable and fun approach. Not that I don't think that what we've been doing has been valuable or fun, but just changing with the times. And you'll see this already in the channel. We've already started to shift. But by February, it'll be very clear. There's kind of 3 buckets of content that I'm going to focus on, for the majority of things that we talk about here. And now I'm curious what you guys think of these and if I'm missing something or if these buckets don't quite hit. But the first bucket is really the author market, right? What's changing? What's happening? So really getting, not an insider look because that's coming, but because of the volume of authors we're working with and because of Author Launch Kit, we have a lot of insights into what works in the marketplace. And it's a little bit of a different perspective than a lot of the other channels on YouTube, because most of the book channels on YouTube are, solo authors, right? Or they have a small service like an editorial service or a ghostwriting service. And all those things are great. They're super valuable. But we have such a cool perspective, taking people from idea all the way to marketing their book. And then, with other people in our communities, in our Author Lab community and our Author Launch Kit, we get so much information and concepts and see what works and doesn't work. And I think ultimately, if you don't understand publishing platforms and discoverability and how it's shifting, you're working hard on strategies and tactics that don't move the needle. So that's what I'm going to focus on for the bucket 1. We'll help you see what we're trying. See, I told you. For those that are just joining, when I first started, I said, this picture is going to fall. Sorry. And if you can't tell, from last week, I'm still getting over that cold that I had last week. Anyways, so now it's crooked. Okay. Anyways, that was amusing for me. I don't know if anybody else enjoyed that. Yeah, see, it was exciting. Thank you. And I predicted the future. I said when the call started, this is going to fall, because I could feel that I didn't get the one piece latched, but it was time to start the live stream. So the show must go on. So we will be, so that's what really we're going to focus on. As a side note, if anybody is an AI savvy author, so you've had some experience launching a book, you've got some book marketing stuff under your belt, but you're AI savvy, we're going to be bringing somebody on the team to help us with some really cool stuff that we're working on sometime in the first half, if not the first quarter of 2026. So feel free to reach out in January and check on that job position if you're interested, because ideally we're working with authors, people that have already experienced some of this world and who are AI savvy. Okay, second bucket, building the business of being an author, right? Empire building. This should not surprise you at all, but more than ever, and I've always had this stance, having a book is a piece of intellectual property. It's an asset. You have to know how to use it though, because it doesn't just manifest into opportunity. I wish it did, but it does not. And so understanding how to turn that book into opportunities and leverage its value as a piece of intellectual property into income and impact and authority beyond book sales. So that's empire building. And of course, you may or may not know, but we have our live event happening in March, the Authors Empire Workshop. Angela's not here. She generously offered, but I want her to finish up and wrap up for the holidays. So I told her I could handle today's live alone, but I will try and drop links in the description afterwards for our free community, which you can go to booklaunchers.com/school or authorsempireworkshop.com. And so really, it's about that intellectual property building and building something that lasts and not just chasing a launch. because a launch is a single day and it isn't really where the income well, sometimes it's the income, but it's not where the long-term impact is generated for most authors. And then the third bucket, the final bucket, is something that we don't do. We do it a bit. So if people have been around and have been to our deep dives, you've seen it on the deep dives, but it's the behind the scenes insights on, and not the how to as much as the why we do it. Because most authors don't get to see the behind the scenes of a publishing process and what's working and what patterns lead to success and what kind of common pitfalls arise. And there's so much that goes into a good book. And in kind of thinking about how to focus the content a little differently in 2026, I was looking at, what are we uniquely positioned to talk about that other people, won't have the same lens on. And, this is really what I tell people to do with their books too. And one of the things is, the behind the scenes, not just, okay, here's how you choose a good cover, but how does the right partner work on a cover and help present the covers to you? As an example, book titles. There is so much that goes into us brainstorming book titles with authors. And while we're not necessarily going to show you all our secret sauce of what we do behind the scenes, I think understanding the why and okay, this title came in and we have to get authors' permission. So we can only use books that are books and examples where our authors say, yes, you can tell people about my terrible title that I came in with and how it evolved. But, we want to talk about, hey, this title came in and here's why it wasn't the best title. And then here's why we recommended these titles and how this is where the author ended at the end of all of this. I think some of those behind the scenes kind of things would be very valuable. But again, I'm sharing this with you so you can give me feedback and say, these buckets suck, Julie, which I don't think they do. But, or, hey, have you thought about doing this? Or this would be really cool. And talking about some of those things, like our fact checker. We have a few fact checkers, but our main one, Ina, some of the stuff that she tells me as to how she digs in and why she thought that, I think is really, really fascinating. And so we're going to be touching on that bucket every month, I think, and that'll be kind of cool. And then starting in February, we're going to do the Author Market Brief Live, which is going to be inside of our free community. So we won't even be doing that one on YouTube, but it's still going to be relevant. And that's why I wanted to share it here, because we're going to talk about what's happening right now, but really also what's changed, because each month we're finding certain things are changing. Some things surprise us. Some things authors should be paying attention to. Some, they're putting energetic emotion into that, why bother? And so we're going to kind of summarize it into a market brief and do a bit of a show and put it on our school community inside of the free part of our school community. So that's what we're going to be doing in 2026, at least specific to video content. So I'm curious what you guys think about that. And then what we're going to talk about after this, of course, if you have any questions, I'm all ears. But then the casual kind of topics I thought we'd touch on because it came up last week, the DRM change from Amazon. Which we will go into more detail in January, but touch on it today. The Kindle books that talk back kind of feature. I want to talk about that a bit because Writers Beware came out with an article and people are talking a lot about that. But then I want to share some of my journey with my digital narration distribution because that's been a whole lot of fun and there's lots of questions about that because I voice cloned the second edition of Self-Publish and Succeed. And then I have been attempting to distribute it. So that word should tell you where I'm at with that whole journey. All right. So we have created by Susan Montgomery here from Ohio. Sage Lifestyle said, just finished Self-Promote and Succeed. And I feel like I have a very long to-do list, but great book. Thank you. I'm so glad. And then bourbon will fix that cold. It's in the Bible. If only. I have been doing a perma dry January since 2007. So no bourbon for this gal, but that might help. And then iLaw Music, hello. And we have two Vancouver folks here. I'm pretty sure, Kristen, I see you saying hello from Vancouver. And then we also have Ancient Egypt and the Bible from Vancouver as well. So how about that? We've got a lot of Canadians in the house. So welcome. All my people who know what a toque is. Yeah, that is fantastic. Okay. Now, let's see. I'm just seeing. Oh, Susan, I wrote a memoir a couple years ago, and thinking about doing an illustrated memoir next year. Ooh, interesting, kind of like a graphic memoir, but a illustration. Maybe not like a graphic memoir. Oh, the other Vancouver. Oh, Vancouver, Washington. It's not Canadian, right? Got it. There's two Vancouvers. Okay, so the DRM stuff. What changed? Let's kind of touch on that. Like I said, we'll go deeper into this in January, but it's been coming up a lot, so I figured might as well talk about it today. So what it means, what this change is. So Kindle, or Amazon actually, announced that Kindle Direct Publishing authors can now allow DRM, digital rights management, free EPUB and PDF downloads for books sold through the Kindle store. So if a reader purchases your ebook, not borrows it. So they're buying your book. They're not doing the library lending. And if you're a KDP author, that reader can download the DRM free version of your book directly from Amazon's Manage Your Content and Devices page. And then they can read it on their Kindle device or other devices like Kobo or anything that basically supports their EPUB or PDF reading. Doesn't apply to the Kindle Unlimited. That's what I was thinking of, the Kindle library, the Kindle Unlimited. And it doesn't apply to books outside of KDP. This is a KDP thing. And now it doesn't default to DRM off, right? It's up to the author to do this. So there's been a lot of talk and emotions around this. And I keep thinking I need to dive into it deeper to understand the emotion, but I've always had a pretty neutral perspective on this. I don't enable DRM. In theory, people think it's important to enable DRM because they think it protects their book. I've always had the perspective that DRM doesn't protect your book from people who want to pirate your book, because it is not that hard for people to figure out a path forward. There are plenty of websites out there. A friend of mine, he does in fact buy the books before he does this, but he doesn't have to. He likes to upload them into his AI system and have the book basically. He likes to interview the book. He likes to interact with the book, and so he's been downloading PDF versions of books through a website tool that he's had access to for years. He's not doing it with any kind of malintent, and he does buy the books first. But the reality is, if somebody wants to do this, they're going to do it. And so all you're doing by enabling DRM is creating friction for some of the readers who genuinely did buy your book and wanted to download it to a different device. So, Amazon saying this is a reader upgrade experience. Generally speaking, I always remind people, Amazon's not doing this for authors. They don't care. I don't want to say they don't care, but I don't think they care about authors, but they do care about their customers. And so they're usually doing things to improve conversions or to improve customer experience. So that's probably why they're doing it. But for me, nothing's really changed. I'm going to keep DRM off, but I will go deeper into this for January to see if there's anything I'm missing with this change, because it does seem like a lot of people are concerned about it. Even people on my team were quite nervous and worried about, what this means. But to me, again, write your book in a way that it can't be, even if it's pirated by somebody else, they will get to know you. They're going to want to connect to you, your community. They're going to want to go to your website and learn more about you or connect with you on social media. And when you do that, hey, somebody's going to spread your book out there. Yeah, you might miss out on a few bucks, but hopefully it's going to grow your ecosystem in a bigger way anyways, because you did a great job of your book. Okay. Ask This Book, the Kindle Ask This Book feature. So this has been interesting because there was a big article in Writer Beware about it. And what it is while reading a Kindle ebook, a reader can highlight a passage and ask a question. So generally speaking, I want to highlight for nonfiction authors, I don't think this applies very much, because the vast majority of books in the nonfiction space are selling in the physical format or the audiobook format. So the fact that, it's not like, oh geez, all my books are behind me. But here, let's see. We've got, this isn't one of ours. This one. Okay, Shannon Russell, lovely person. And so her book, it's not like this applies to this, because I'm not going to go, okay, Shannon, what does it mean when it's time to start your second act, right? This is not going to talk back to me yet. So it applies to ebooks. And the reality is that in the nonfiction space, there's not a lot of ebook sales. They happen, but in the scheme of what you're selling in a given month, if you have 100 book sales, you're probably selling, and you have an ebook, a physical book, and an audiobook, you're probably selling 50 or 60 physical books. You're probably selling 20, maybe 25 audiobooks, and then, whatever's left, the 5 or 10, if I did math on the fly, right, are in the ebook format. So it doesn't apply that much, but the point is that it's going to generate an AI answer inside of the book interface. It's live inside of the Kindle iOS app, and it's expected to roll out a lot more to Android and other devices in 2026. I have Kindle on my phone. It's not on my phone yet, so I couldn't even test it. The big uproar, though, is that the feature is not optional, right? So you can't say, hey, I don't want my book to have this. And Amazon has not clarified what rights they're relying on when they do this, or whether text is being used beyond real-time analysis. I actually thought I read something that stated clearly that this is like Amazon doesn't do anything with it besides this. So it's all kind of inside of that piece, but I couldn't find it when I was prepping for this. And it also doesn't address people's concern, which is if the AI hallucinates or gives derivative output. So I'm not really freaking out, because most of the book sales that our clients and our authors and myself are experiencing are in a physical format. And frankly, I uploaded my audiobook to a couple of different services to create an interactive audiobook. So I'm kind of like game on. But some people are concerned that they're not able to opt into that, or they're worried about the rights or the derivative output. So I think, again, come January, we should have a little bit more on this and see where it lands. But there's a couple things I want to mention with regards to this. Is it reinforces the thing I've been talking about. And in fact, it was in my end of kind of my seasonal video of what authors should be watching out for in 2026. But books are not static objects anymore, right? We are creating reader experiences, and more, the expectation and the usage is going to be interactive. And so really wrapping your head around that for 2026 is really important. And again, this is kind of a side conversation, but ebooks are secondary still for nonfiction authors. But I think it's interesting to watch this from a rights and a precedent perspective. But I'm not investing emotional energy in this right now. But some people are upset. All right, and created by Susan Montgomery. She says she keeps DRM off as well. All right, so I got one more thing to talk about, and then unless you guys have questions, I'll be wrapping up. You guys are probably tired of hearing my scratchy voice anyways. I feel good though, just in case you're feeling bad. I feel good. I just got the remnant. It's like the new cold I get every time. Once a year, I seem to get a cold, and it starts with a sore throat, progresses to some sort of a horrible headache, which this year turned into a migraine. And then afterwards, I get a runny nose, and then I get a cough. And that's where I'm at now, is final phase, which is that cough phase, but I feel good otherwise. Okay, the last thing is the digital narration. So this has been quite a journey. And so what I did with my second edition of Self-Publish and Succeed, I voice cloned, and I did this back in November. So for those of you who were around for the summit, the book launched like November 13th. And you may or may not have noticed the audiobook of the second edition still has not followed. So what I did, because it was a very busy year, as you heard when I kicked off the video talking about all the things that we've done this year, and we're laying the foundation for our live events. We're going to do 2 summits again next year, possibly take on another summit, but we'll see what happens with that conversation. And anyway, so it was a lot. So I thought I'll just voice clone my book, and we'll distribute it, and it'll be done there. Well, the voice cloning was actually so easy, and I did upload a video of how I cloned that voice, and I'll put the link in the description below. But if you can just search 11 Labs voice clone on the channel, and you'll find it. So that part was easy. And then my team was able to edit it. Largely they focused on changing. Sometimes it would speed up, so it sounds weird, right? Like those kind of things create a disconnect when it speeds up at the wrong time. It did a good job of emoting like I would emote. So the training, the material I used to train it was obviously really, really good because it did put emphasis and emoted in really good places naturally. But it had some weird speed ups. It took pauses at a few of the wrong places. It needed pauses added. And then my team had fun with making sure that it would actually pronounce process. And some things it had trouble with, like AI, it would say I and things like that. So they went through line by line and edited it. They figure it took about an hour and a half for every hour of audio to edit it. So if your book's 6 hours, and you're editing it line by line, it's about a 9-hour edit job. Now, the good news is this is not skilled work, right? This is editing text on a screen as you listen to it. It just takes somebody understanding the language and maybe how somebody talks, the nuances of somebody's voice and language patterns. So that's the good news, is anybody could do it. You could pay a student, an intern to do this. So you don't have to pay, the $300 an hour for an expert audio narrator for this. So that's all the good news. The bad news is I would not upload it straight out of the box kind of thing, because it does have a lot of robotic intonations and issues, I would say. So it does need going through line by line. But it was easy and it was cheap and it was relatively fast, right? The team got through the editing in about a week, just dividing it amongst a couple different people. Where the fun starts to come in. Now, of course, the number one question I keep getting is, well, I can't distribute this to Audible. That is correct. If you want a book sold on Audible with a digital voice, you have to use the Amazon virtual voice service. And I don't foresee that changing because they're making gross amounts of money off of that. And I don't foresee them, allowing outside uploads anytime soon, but I would be happy to be wrong. So it's correct. If you clone your voice, you cannot upload that to Amazon or ACX to distribute on Audible. However, there are plenty of other places that you can distribute it. And there's also 11 Reader, which has some cool features. And at some point, I hope I'll be able to test it. But that's where the challenges have really come into play. So first, I tried to upload from 11 Labs to 11 Reader, which is then an app on your phone. It has been an absolute nightmare. And I'm even in direct contact with the folks at 11 Reader because we have a content partnership, because I am a massive fan of 11 Labs and I'm an affiliate for them. And again, the voice cloning piece and the editing of that was phenomenal. 11 Reader is 11 Labs app for purchasing and using and experiencing audiobooks. So I figured this was going to be super easy to take my voice clone and upload it to 11 Reader. It has been a nightmare. And I have wasted so many hours. And I thought, usually my team does this, but I was like, I'm going to shoot videos about all of this. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I've wasted, 5 or 6 hours on this upload to 11 Reader, and it still isn't working. The best I got was one single chapter. I got the opening credits and my introduction onto 11 Reader, and that's it. And it's all kinds of random issues, and it could upload immediately with another digital voice. But I voice cloned it. I want it to be my voice, and it just isn't uploading as my voice. So that has not been easy. Spotify for Authors was super straightforward. Right in the 11 Labs dashboard, I was able to hit publish, send it to Spotify for Authors. It seems like that's good. I don't have Spotify, so I haven't been able to check. So if you have Spotify and you can see if my Self-Published and Succeed second edition is live on there and it's clearly marked as digitally narrated, that would be phenomenal. I never got an email notification saying it was approved and it's gone through. So maybe it seemed like it worked, but it didn't. But here's where I ran into an unexpected snag, and I thought it was worth us talking about it, me sharing it today. So I then went to Voices by In Audio, and I uploaded it there, and it's marked clearly. The cover has virtual voice or virtually narrated or some digitally narrated, something on the cover. And I'm also ticking off the boxes, right, to make this very clear. This is a digital narration. I'm not trying to pass this off as human narration. And I had the files, like everything from 11 Labs, uploaded beautifully into Voices by In Audio. And I put all the metadata in, hit publish. Oh, I'm going to cough. One moment. I couldn't mute you guys fast enough. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about the cough. I tried to get you save your eardrums, but I didn't get there fast enough. Okay. And so the fun little snag was then my book was rejected, saying it was clearly a digital voice and it wasn't clearly indicated. So that was frustration number one. And then I contacted support and I was like, did I miss a step? Is there a toggle somewhere I didn't check? But then they also flagged for me that digitally narrated audiobooks are distributed as an all or nothing group. So I can't uncheck places for distribution. Where this is a problem, Spotify. It is automatically included. And so I said, well, I've already uploaded to Spotify. So what's going to happen? And they said, if I don't remove my Spotify for Authors listing, it's going to create 2 listings on Spotify for Authors. So where does it get distributed? Well, if this ever works, because right now it's still not working, through Voices by an Audio, it will be distributed through audiobooks.com, Everend, I think, which is what Scribd used to be. Everend, I think I got that right. Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Spotify, Baker & Taylor, Biblioteca, and Overdrive. So Biblioteca and Overdrive are the library pieces. So yeah, between uploading, re-uploading, troubleshooting, waiting on responses, I've lost more than a month of audiobook sales and distributing this piece. And I'm still going to keep going. I'm going to get this done. The ecosystem is just immature, right? There's some weirdness in this. There's some glitches. And I think that it is not, for now, I think human narrator audiobooks are not only a better experience for the readers, I think it's going to be a smoother experience for the authors too. It just has a bigger cost, right? It has that, for most of the nonfiction books that we're working on, it's about a $3,500 cost to edit, get everything ready for upload, distribution, all the pieces. But it's a better experience all around, and it has the widest distribution option. I'm still very impressed with voice cloning, but the distribution side is where things have really fallen apart for me. And I haven't given up, but what a pain. Okay. Let's see. I see some questions. So I'll come back to your questions after, but right now I want to quickly do your prize, and then I'll answer questions until there's no questions. And then that'll be the last live stream until we return in the new year. But there will be videos on Friday and Tuesday. They will just be pre-recorded, fantastical content, of course. Okay, so let me do our prize giveaway. So if you haven't said hello, you still have a moment to say hello. And I have the right one. Perfect. Okay. All right. So 11 of you have said hello today. So let's see who is our first winner. And if you are in the US, Angela does have toques left. So you can win a toque if you want a toque. PGPN3E, congratulations. What you need to do is email Angela at team, TEAM at booklaunchers.com. And her standard array of prizes is our hashtag No Boring Books mug, our Oh So Soft journal, my books, Self-Promote and Succeed, Self-Publish and Succeed, and also you can tell her if you want a toque. Okay, I'm going to do one more draw, and then we'll do Q&A until there's no questions left. Let's see, who is our next winner? Gary! Congratulations, although I have a feeling you're going to say draw again, but I will. You don't have to. You can take a prize if there's anything on that list that you want to win. And PGP, if you didn't catch that, you got to email team. I'll put it in the chat for you. Team at booklaunchers.com, so that she knows what you want, but also where to send it. Some people say, I want a mug. And that's all they say. And Angela's like, that's great, but I don't know where to send it. All right. Gary's not commenting, so I'm going to leave it. Gary, you've won something. So let us know what you need something else of. He's a regular winner around here, and we will send it. So claim it from, there he is. There he is. See, I knew he was going to say draw again. Okay. I just stopped sharing. Okay. I'm going to draw again without you guys seeing it, and then I'll show you after. Not that I'm cheating, it's just a lot of screen movement here. So while it's drawing right now, and we will share screen and you will see who won at the same time as I do. Oh, here we go. It is Sage Lifestyle Press. Congratulations. So I think you're a new winner, unless I just don't know your real name behind your handle. But email Angela at team@booklaunchers.com. Let her know if you want self-promote and succeed, self-publish and succeed, the mug or the journal. And if you are not in the US, she's got some choices of prizes that we can send to you without anybody incurring duty. So thank you. And thank you, Gary. Okay, so let's go back. I saw a couple questions, and if you have a question you want to put in there, you can. Okay, I did an 11, here we go. I did an audiobook with 11 labs. I'm going to put it on BookFunnel as a lead. Yes. Oh, thank you for mentioning BookFunnel. So that is typically, if you've watched my videos and I say go to booklaunchers.com/free audio, that is all delivered through BookFunnel. I deliver my audiobooks through there as a, to get your email, but also just to give you a copy of the audiobook so you can learn and enjoy. So I do that too. So thank you. And I will be doing that. I've been so preoccupied with trying to get this distribution set up that I actually haven't put it into BookFunnel and adjusted our link yet. But in the new year, the BookFunnel link, the booklaunchers.com/free audio, that will actually be the second edition digitally narrated voice clone. Okay. Sorry, that's funny. If my AI voice sounds like me, even I wouldn't buy my book. I do not enjoy listening to my voice either. So I was very grateful to my team that they edited my robot voice. But it does sound a lot like me. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. I was going to take my 11 abs audio and put a BookFunnel. Okay, we said that. Here we go. Since it's a bridge, do you recommend I give it a different title? Yes, or just put a abridged version beside it. Just clearly mark those things. It doesn't have to have a full different title, but you could just say, title, abridged version. And thank you, Mia. I should be really good in a couple days. I think that's usually the pattern of this thing that I seem to get on an annual basis. Jason's in the house. Hello and welcome. Oh, it's Jeannie. Of course. Okay, that's who you are. So we know who you are, but still, you can claim your prize. Okay, let's see. That's it, everybody. So I wish you all a wonderful holiday season, whatever it is you celebrate, even if it's just celebrating life at this time of year. And I can't wait to share 2026 with you. I think it is going to be a wild, fun ride. So thank you so much. If you celebrate Christmas, that's what I celebrate, but Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I look forward to sharing 2026 with you. All the best.